Yeah, I think a lot of the shows on YouTube that are very successful are shows, because YouTube is one of those sites that are real-time engagement. I think a lot of successful shows are the Ask shows, or things where you can talk to someone immediately, or just in the internet world in general. Just the fact that you can speak to someone right away and you can see it once you're live, you're live. I mean, the comments start rolling in, and you pretty much you do care what people say. So if you're getting like so much hate on a certain way, you're like, well, you know how to adjust. And just doing videos after videos, and the thing is, like, we're always in their face. So we're putting videos up like constantly. Some of us on schedule, some not, but we're always constantly putting work up. So to go back to what you were saying about seeing people in public, I've had people just. I have friends who are doing traditional television, who are actors in traditional television as opposed to what I do. Their fans will look from afar, and when we're out, and they're like, hey, that's such and such and so-and-so, as opposed to in an online personality, they'll approach us, because they feel like they know us more. So they'll run up to us and hug us like they know us, and I'm like, it's a little weirded out, like, oh, okay, hey, how's it going? Because they feel they're with us every step of every week, as opposed to someone in traditional entertainment. It's a little different. So they'll be like, hey, what if I could go take a picture? They don't feel like the same connection.
Well, I think also it's much more immediate.
Right.
And you're a lot more exposed. I think that's also why sometimes it's the agony and the ecstasy, because you're really putting yourself out there in a very different way. I mean, it comes across in just some of the examples that we saw. But you're also, like, part of your programming, DeStorm, you're always asking for input. What should my next challenge be? I mean, do you get a lot of feedback there?
Yeah. Even trying to transition out of the challenges, I can't, because every question is someone,
I would unsubscribe.
Every question is someone like, I challenge you, because it's just something that everyone wants to challenge someone to do something. It's almost like they know you're going to do it, and they know you're going to achieve it, but they just want to see how you do it. Because it's like, I didn't feel a challenge yet, but it's almost for them, it's just like, cool, I just want to see how he did it. And then it's almost like people who have like mail shows. I have a show where I open mail on my second channel, and they just want to see what's in there. I don't know, it's a little...
You got a P.O. box, right?
Yeah.
Well, when you have an will you please give me your home address on right now? When you have an audience that is so engaged like that, are there limitations? Can you like
it depends
get
on
off,
your
get off
audience.
the rocks, or you know what I mean? Like,
No, I think it depends on the audience you build. If you build your audience to like a certain thing, that's what you've built. Because it's not like these people were, you created that audience. I created my audience for that. So if I'm going to transition them, I have to figure out a way to transition them out.
right.
I built the audience to love the challenges that I do and things.
You like Monday, Friday.
Right. Now, I've had them on schedule. Now I'm just like all over the place, and they're upset. So, and it takes a while. Like, they just have to adapt to the new.
Do you hear these words he's using? Like, he's describing his audience as upset. He can feel the emotional state of his audience, and that's a genuine thing. I'm going through a similar thing where I can feel that they're upset, and it's like that kind of connection, I think, is really what's special about YouTube.
Yeah. But you're also beholden to them in a way that, I mean, it's difficult to move quickly, right? You can't get out of that set. But that's part of, I guess.
And it's hard too because I don't have a set show or a set schedule, so
Yeah,
nobody really knows what they're going to get or anything.
You've taught them to expect nothing.
Yeah.
No regularity.
No,
It's really good in a weird way.
It is true. But having that set schedule, I mean, a lot of the successful YouTube channels, people know when to expect something on this certain channel, whereas some days I won't post for two weeks. But I have a couple other channels where I post an iPhone video almost every single day. So at least there is that sort of a connection. Whereas, okay, hey, I'm going to post a video in 2 weeks. Look for it then, or I'm working on a video. So they see the whole process of working on that set piece, and then they actually get to see it.
But I found the schedule worked for me when I was growing my audience because it gave them, they knew when to come back. So they didn't, because a lot of times when someone's on YouTube, you can subscribe to a YouTube channel. But if you subscribe to 10 or 20 channels, then a lot of times the videos push back in the career. They don't see your video. So if you want your audience to see your video, I found that putting them on a schedule, they know to come back on that Monday or that Friday to see my video. So if they're subscribed to the other 19 channels, then if my video is pushed, they'll say, okay, well, I'll just go to his channel to find his video because it's not in my subscription box.
Can you briefly explain, like, if I subscribe to your channel, what does that mean for me as a
If
viewer?
you subscribe to my channel as a viewer, you will get an email now that into whatever the email is connected to your YouTube channel to let you know I've released a new video. If you're subscribed to my channel, it may go to your Facebook stream. And also, when you log into YouTube, once you log in, it'll show the people that you are subscribed to that they have put out new videos. So that's what a subscription is. So it's very key on YouTube to have subscribers because you'll hit your core audience before you hit people who haven't seen your videos.
Is that where you? Sorry.
No.
Is that how you reach your audience primarily? Is through the subscription model if you're a YouTuber?
Yeah.
It is, there's so many
There's so many
ways
ways.
too. I mean, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. You basically have to be everywhere. And when I first started, I literally put a video. If you could post a video on a website, I put it there. And a lot of my audience too became very segregated because they were like, well, I'm only on this certain website, so I'm only going to stay here. So I think what's also important is to have a website because if somebody doesn't, even know that you have a YouTube channel, they're like, well, I'll just go to the website. But having all of those different distribution points is super important because some people are lazy. I don't want to get off of Facebook. I want to watch it here.
Yeah, some people don't want to get on Twitter. They're like, I'm staying on Facebook. I don't care what you put on Twitter. They don't care.
Yeah, you kind of got to be everywhere. And for us, we started with a schedule back because we were sort of part of that push to train people that you could watch shows online. I mean, 6.5 years ago, YouTube didn't exist. When we were starting to put it out, really was when iTunes included podcasting into the iTunes Music Store, which really was what blew up the beginning kernels of this whole digital thing. And from us coming from TV, we went, okay, we're not idiots. We have to get on a sort of TV-like schedule because people they know that every Wednesday I get to watch my NCIS. You know what I mean? Like they were trained already to know, and they could look forward to it, and it's the same sort of thing. And when we started changing stuff in the show, it's like trying to move a cruise ship. I mean, it literally is just sort of like, we're over here now, and everybody's like, why is it not 7 stories? Why is it? It's 5. I'm confused now, and it's like it's just 5. You think it's so minuscule in the day-to-day of us making it, where it's like, oh, we'll just do 5 instead of 7. Yeah, high fives all around the 5 people in the room. You know what I mean? And then you put it out, and it's like, there was one time on a Totally Rad show where I didn't put my hair up, and it literally was called Hairgate 2011 because my hair just looks like normal. I mean, it's like this thing, I just put stuff in my hair and it's up. And I was just sort of like, I don't know why I didn't do it, but literally it was like the biggest thing that could have happened to our show. It was as if we had just said, we're going to stop doing the show, was my hair. So there's like little things that you think are not a big deal become a really big deal. But the other thing is when it's fun, is when you think something is going to be massive. We might lose half our audience if we do this. And then you do it and they're like, yeah, all right. I mean, it's really weird. They're like such a weird, it literally is this sort of third entity involved in production, is this blob of people who enjoy your content. And it's sort of this, it has its own personality. I mean, like you were saying, where you kind of feel that they weren't happy, and you're like, I don't know what's happening, but this ball of things is sort of groaning, and I need to babysit it. But it's very weird.
You do know what's happening because they'll tell you.
Yeah.
You can kind of go through your comments and gauge, like, oh, they like the little songs at the end of vlogs, or they wish the songs were at the beginning of vlogs, or they like it when the rap battle characters are mean to each other, or they don't like DeStorm.
Just little comments, little comments.
Well, it's interesting that saying these people. I went to a baseball game and I was like, I wonder how many people are in this stadium. So I looked it up. I was like, 50,000. I just posted a vlog, and that already has over 100,000 views. And I'm like, this is 50,000, so that's 100,000, this is 300,000. So to actually realize how many people are watching this and seeing that, just getting that kind of perspective. The video that I just posted that took me 2 seconds to make, more people are going to watch that is in this entire arena. And it's crazy. And then even I've posted videos out places and somebody says, oh my gosh, I'm here right now, don't move. I'm like, okay, I'm doing that really quick. Because it's all real time.
It's all real time.
It is hard to put into perspective the audience. One of the things that was great that we started doing was about a year and a half into Dignation, we just went, maybe we could do this show. I mean, there's no magic to the show. It's just you and me sort of jerking around like after beers. What if we did this out in public somewhere? And it was the first time we ever did that, and we had about 250 people show up, which we thought was amazing. And then you move that forward, and we're doing shows at South by Southwest in front of 3,500 people and crowd surfing. And 3,500 people is such a small slice of our audience, but when you see that, when you're there and you can actually talk to them and hear 3,500 people laugh at some stupid thing that you say, it really puts it all into perspective. It's just sort of the same thing that Justine said, where it's just like 3,500 people is so much smaller than the amount of people that are actually watching this, but for whatever reason, there's this sort of weird feeling of solidarity when you're making these things. You're almost making them in a vacuum and putting them out in the world, and you don't, that number doesn't really resonate with how many people it would be if you were in person seeing all those people.
And it's worldwide too. I told a story on another panel. I went to Norway and I looked at my stats from Norway. I was like, nobody watches my videos here, so okay. So the company that I went out with, Opera, the web browser, they suggested that I do a meetup. And so I made like a Facebook page and a little invite, and they expected 25 people to show up. So it was like the day before I made a video. We had like 650 screaming little children that showed up to this event. Security showed up and like, what's going on? We can't have this happen here. So they moved me and like 600 little kids across the street somewhere public.
That's interesting. I had something like that. I went to Bulgaria to see this hot girl. And she's the real. And she's hot. You saw her. But I went to Bulgaria to see a friend of mine. And the thing is, like a lot of other countries, they can't watch American television, but they want to see how America does. So the only way they can do it is they watch the web, because they can watch YouTube and things like that. So apparently a lot of people have been watching my videos. So I got there, and it was weird because the pilot gave me some data. I was like, the pilot's giving me. Then the stewardess knew who I was. Then I got off the plane, and it's like all these people like knew who I was when I got off the plane, because they don't get to watch on television, but they get to watch the YouTube, and they
I heard
The
that.
YouTube,
That's
I've heard
good.
that.
they get to watch the YouTube, and they got to sit. So it was crazy because like all these people approached me, they're like touching my leg and stuff, and it was just an interesting feeling to see how it translates across seas. In comparison to just walking through California and then one person would be like, hey man, okay,
But then that's the problem with television, because a lot of these little kids, whenever we do TV shows or TV appearances, they can't watch it because it's not available in their country or where they live. So that's kind of hard for us, because if I do a TV show, I did a Criminal Minds or a Law and Order thing maybe like 3 years ago, and now it's finally just making it out into other places. And then these people are like, I illegally had to do something so that I could watch your live stream at CES. I'm like, great, now these little kids are going to go to jail trying to watch our live.
I mean, it's interesting because in many cases you can be your own boss here, and that's really, really important to the creative process, for sure.
It's huge.
Right.
It's huge. I mean,
It's hard though, being your own boss, because I really love Call of Duty, so there's been some times where I've played Call of Duty for a week straight. So I started a gaming channel, so now I play Call of Duty and film it.
See, that's perfect though. That's exactly why it's awesome to be your own boss. Because you took something you loved and were like, I'm going to make a video of me playing Call of Duty, and you did, and that's awesome.
But your audience is kind of also your boss too, right?
That is true.
if they love you,
They're our partner.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty much.
we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them, and they wouldn't be able to watch what they enjoy without us. So I think we're in it together. But there's nobody in a suit involved, and I like that.
I think if anyone wants to ask any questions, we have about 4 minutes left. If you want to line up, and we'll try to answer some questions.
What's going on, guys? Is there such a thing as posting content too frequently? Because like what I've found is when you post a new vlog or video, it drastically takes away from the one before it, the viewership. Do you think there's such a thing as oversaturating it?
I think a lot of times it depends on who you are. You look at someone like Shay Carl, who does a daily vlog, they're used to him doing that. So they come back every day to see that. Someone like myself, if I started posting every day, I think it would hurt me, because they're used to me posting once a week now. So if I was to post every day, it would probably be too oversaturated for myself. So it all depends on, back to your audience, on how you grow your audience and what you choose to do. Because also like Charles and Ali, they post every day. They do a daily vlog every day also.
But it's hard to change that schedule.
It's hard for them, so they're just kind of stuck that way. So now people, once you start it, they're going to expect something every day. And that's tough, because they've been living their life on a daily schedule for years.
It's hard. That's why I'll do the one
It's
take
tough.
iPhone vlogs every day because it's super easy. Even then, I get yelled at. They're like, "You forgot to post today." I'm like, "I was traveling. I'm tired. Leave me alone."
The kids.
So yeah, I think it's all about like what you expect your audience. And if you made a a crazy video every single day, it's like impossible.
I think it's sometimes wise to spend twice as much time on half as many videos also. It's like you can take the amount of time and just put it into something that's really great. Just keep working on it until it's really great, and then I think it'll get more traffic. Cool.
Thank you.
Hi, how you going? Kirsty from Australia. I'm about to launch a online talk show where I've interviewed guests, and you were talking about the whole haters concept. Rather than it being about the host, what I'm concerned about is how can I make sure that I create a culture of non-judgment for the guests, because some of them have shared very personal stories about stripping or being involved in drug addiction. Is there a way to create that culture?
It's really hard because these people, they are anonymous to you, so they feel like they can say whatever they want. So it's really hard, especially when I have other people, like my sisters or my family in my videos. They're like, "Oh, I don't like your sister, she's ugly." I'm like, "That's my sister." Or if I have like friends in my videos, they're like, "We don't like him. Get him out
So
of here."
how would you cut? Would any of you advocate deleting the post to create a standard that you don't accept that, or would you respond to them, or what would you?
I think that's a good point.
Can you set ground rules with your?
Well, I think also, you haven't launched it
It's
yet.
about to be launched.
Yeah, one of the things that I would recommend would be, because you know what you're doing. You've got the luxury of knowing what can usually happen and what you want to happen. One of the things I'd recommend would be to turn off comments on YouTube specifically and focus that conversation back onto your own website. Because if you do that on your own website, you can I think people have sort of become, they're much more likely to leave those types of comments on YouTube because that's what they do there. That's what those people specifically do there. And that's some of the fun of being on YouTube for people. So if you close off the comments on the actual YouTube page and you move that conversation to something that you can moderate a little bit more, actually have moderators, maybe even not a terms of service, but a little bit of a blurb of, hey, this is what we want this conversation to be here, and if you're not interested in that, that's fine, but this is not a place for you, and your comments will be removed. Or
Well, if you
whatever.
Taryn, do you notice?
Well, yeah, I think another option is just giving them a full disclaimer that this is what can happen. Definitely feel free to delete comments. You can even write something in your description box saying, the reason, if you're negative, that doesn't belong here. But I also think that the audience that's meant to find you and likes your show, as they stay with you, you're going to find that any sort of negativity a lot of it starts going away.
They'll
after a while.
police too, right?
They have policing each other. So if you want to keep the YouTube conversation going, that's personally how I would go about doing it.
And you can also set it so that you can moderate comments as they come in. So I would definitely keep the comments,
Keep the comments,
but
yeah.
do moderate them. And let the guests know too.
But let the guests know
If
that
you keep them and you moderate them, because if you have positive comments, more people will watch. It's just how it works. So if you delete the comments completely, it's almost like, why are they hiding their comments? What's the problem? But if you keep the comments up, you just only let the positive comments come through until you build an audience, a strong base. Eventually, once you build a base audience that supports you, they'll attack the negative anyway, because they'll be your fans. I have fans now. When someone calls me the N-word or anything, they'll come and they'll crush it. My fans will take care of it. I don't have to anymore. So you want to build your core audience where they can just come back and just comment on and take out those negative. But at first, you have to build that audience.
On the X Factor or the network shows, do they enable comments,
it depends.
or did they highly
It
moderate
depends.
them?
I think it's highly moderated when you're talking about network shows.
And that's part of the reason why YouTube's so appealing to an audience is that there's a lot more honesty there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good luck.
So I just have a quick question. Did you guys start channels that didn't work, and then you finally found this magical way of making it work, or was it just like, wow, I just made this amazing piece of content and it just took off? And obviously there's promotion behind it, there's Twitter, and there's
Maybe not a channel, but I think when you start series and things, your channel stays with you. You may start ideas and things that would work. Because I've done sketches, and before I even did music, I did fitness videos. I was a personal trainer for 7 years. So all of my videos were fitness videos at first. Then you find something that works and it stays with your channel, and your audience kind of grows with you. So you keep your channel and just try different things until you find something that kind of works for what you feel. You'll know, trust me.
It happened.
It
right?
happens,
It's like popcorn.
yeah, it'll happen.
Oh, hey.
And guys, this question is of utmost importance for Justine. Did you figure out what that was in the wig?
I actually got an email from the wig company because my audience attacked them. And I'm pretty sure they sent a ton of calls and emails. And it turns out, well, this is what the email says, that the girl wasn't me, and it was a model named Jenna, which is kind of ironic because that's my sister's name. So,
did you ever find her, the model?
This was, I posted that video a week ago, so this is all fresh. So I got an email yesterday, so as soon as I get home, I'm going to dive into this, and I need to find this girl.
And if it is you, you're going to get your cut, of course.
No, I just want to find this girl. If that's
Need that wig money.
Oh, if it is me, I'm pretty sure. I think we sold a lot of them actually recently, so.
You guys have been building your audiences for a long time. If you were starting today, fresh, what would be the biggest difference or differences between how you approach building your audience now versus what you did years ago?
I think now we've learned so much over that course. So really, if I was starting now and I knew nothing, I'd probably do the same thing.
I do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So I think everyone, some of my first videos, I look at those, I still leave them up because people like to go back to see where you started. And it's embarrassing, but I like to leave it there because it's like, this is how I started, this is the process that we all went through.
It's like your demos from your garage.
Yeah. You think there are more success, there are some things that work for you that you wouldn't do again? What was a complete waste of time in terms of building an audience in your perspective?
I don't think anything was a waste of time. I think a lot of things were a waste of time physically, but I don't think in the theory of growing it was a waste of time because you learn from it. And it gives you more patience and it gives you more experience to actually not make the mistakes. You have to make those type of mistakes to grow. So I wouldn't take back any things that I've done. You have to go through these phases and things, and then you get to the point where it's just you're on autopilot. Like I'm sitting here now, and I know I have a video that has to go tomorrow, and it's going to happen.
I don't have near the audience that these guys have. A lot of times because I take time off to work on TV shows or whatever I've been doing. I think the biggest thing that I learned was to just be who I am and not be afraid of putting stuff out. My first video I put out was back in 2006. Got over 1 million views, and then I didn't post another YouTube video for 1.5 years because I was afraid of the backlash from the traditional media community. I was afraid I wasn't going to get hired anymore to post these jobs. And now I still keep on putting up these videos, and I'm still getting hired. So it's like I'm okay with it. I wish I would have done more of it.
Listening to your audience in the 30s there. Unfortunately, we're over time. But thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause.